this works.
Okay, great to see everyone. We have about 42 people currently in the webinar room. We are about a minute from starting. If you could kindly mute your microphones, if you are not speaking, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Em nè, Kiều thấy nó mặt nó đang xịt á, cứ nó xịt độ 12 vậy mà, độ 12 là âm tính đấy đúng không? Nhưng mà vẫn xịt.
Okay, and we'll begin in just in a few seconds. I'm just going to mute everyone so you can unmute. Yeah. Okay, so please unmute your mic if you require to speak. And Scarlett, you can kick off. Thank you.
Yeah. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our webinar. My name is Scarlett, and I have a distinct honor to be an host event today. And on behalf of Q Industry team, I would like to extend the warmest welcome and thank you for being here. And please kindly note that this webinar is conducted only by English, and we will send you on the related information and translated file via your email for your preference. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask us by sending the message in the chat box below, and we will set time to answer it. So let's get started. Yes, I would like to introduce a bit about our Q Industry vision. In Q Industry, our vision is to be recognized as a base setter in the integration of hospitality solutions. And next, I would like to introduce to you our speaker, Chef Christophe Michael. He is a French native with 35 years of culinary and leadership experience. And in 1999, he came to Singapore to take on the role of executive chef at the Ritz-Carlton, and he was the resident for Barbecue Store Singapore for over 10 years. And he's also a co-founder at Sunrise Global Chef Academy as its CEO and director. Chef Christophe also was conferred the French Master Chef and National Order of Merit by the President of the French Republic. And Chef Christophe was invited to be a council member for the Industry Skill and Training Council in Singapore. And until 2014, he joined Q Industries and be as an executive director in charge of special project and succession planning. So let's welcome him for his sharing section. Hello, Chef Christophe, are you ready?
Chef, you can just unmute.
I am all ready for you guys, all ready to go. Just a few housekeeping, like what Kwani mentioned. If you can just make sure you are on mute, that would help us quite a fair bit. And the other thing which will help me, if you two see my name 2 times on screen, is I operate with multiple computers. And if you don't mind, I would love to see all of you, all your faces, because it makes it so much different to just see a phone number or a name with a black screen. Yeah, thank you, Apple. Thanks, Jacqueline. Yeah, that's the way. It makes it a bit friendlier because, you know, with this pandemic, we have become very socially distanced all the time. And that's so much nicer to see all of you on screen. So also during the presentation, if you do have any question, if you are not sure about the explanation, just raise your hand or give me some reaction, and I will be able to follow through and perhaps just pause for a few seconds and resume whatever query you would have. I'm going to share my screen now. Kwani, you need to give me back the right to share because I do not have it right now.
Yep.
Thanks.
You should be able to share now.
Now it's okay. Thank you so much. Good. So we're going to spend the next 40 minutes or so to discover a very new technology called Cerafusion. And Cerafusion is really about providing hygiene and sanitation through technology. And this is something which is very fun to me for a simple reason, as I want to dedicate the rest of my time to really protect Mother Nature and help the F&B and the hospitality to transform in the way we do conduct sanitation, and how we carry out hygiene. Today, these two tasks are very heavily chemical driven, very heavily chemical driven. And if I would ask any one of you who has used a sanitizer, liquid sanitizer in the last 24 hours, I'm sure everybody will raise his hand, correct? And this is becoming increasingly a concern because this is not sustainable. It's not sustainable to continue to use so much chemicals to discharge so much pollution into Mother Nature. This can't last any much longer. So, Cerafusion Technology is based on a concept which exists very widely in Mother Nature. And Mother Nature has been able for centuries to produce something called active oxygen. And active oxygen can easily be found in waterfall areas, at the beaches when you see waves happening, in the forest when you see photosynthesis, or even when you witness cosmic ray. And if any of you has walked in the rain in the countryside, you know that after the rain, the air has that metallic smell. It has a different smell than the normal air. It's charged with active oxygen. And that was the way Mother Nature would get rid of human pollution. And that was all good and fine until came the modern era. And we started to pollute the planet so much, then active oxygen had no more chance to make up for it. And today, active oxygen is actually looked upon as being very nocive. If any of you has heard of the smoke, this is where active oxygen gets trapped today and is really struggling to fight the humankind pollution. So what we have done with Cerafusion, we have technically recreated this phenomenon with technology. And the way we have done it is we have used massive amount of ions with controlled level of ozone. And when we combine the two, we are actually able to reproduce the natural phenomenon of active oxygen and able to release it back into the environment. And this is done to a high voltage unit, power unit, which is able to split the ions. So I hope I'm not going to lose all of you, and I don't want to give you a chemistry lesson this afternoon, but it's important you understand how it is produced, so later on you will have a better idea on how to apply this particular technology. So that's how it looks. On the left-hand side of the screen, you have a normal oxygen molecule, which then is split into half, and subsequently we recompose this molecule of oxygen with 3 molecules, and we are able to form what we call O3. And O3, once released with the ions, is producing active oxygen. So this is the chemical and physical process on how we reproduce this active oxygen with the technology by using that high voltage, splitting the molecules, and then building them back together. Once this active oxygen is released into the air or into the water, it populates every other molecule with the same active oxygen. So it's a snowball effect. It's like one influences the other, and it creates an entire environment charged with this active oxygen. Once you have that, you create an environment with a very strong disinfectant and oxidizer. It basically destroys any virus, any bacteria, any smell which you will encounter in any enclosed environment. So it's a very powerful way of basically getting rid of any harmful viruses or bacteria or molds or any of those germs within a controlled environment. What do I mean by a controlled environment? It is an environment which is enclosed. So if you do operate outdoor it is very difficult because there is no limitation. So it is a bit more challenging for the air to be able to contain and to be able to disinfect and sterilize the environment. So it has to be in a controlled environment with closed door, closed windows. Then the technology, especially the air, is capable of sterilizing the environment. So earlier I explained to you how we split the molecules. So now it's how we actually recreate that with the air and the water by mixing that atomic oxygen with the existing ambient air or with water coming from your tap. So the solution works for either the air or the water. So if, let's say, for instance, now we put ourselves into a room, if you would have active oxygen in the room air environment, and if at the same time you would wash the floor of that room with the water charged with active oxygen, you can almost be reassured we could reach a 99.9% sterilized environment, which is bacteria and virus free. So it sounds very outrageous, but we have done a lot of tests. We have a lot of lab tests. We have a lot of references. We have conducted a lot of testings. And every time we get the results, we are close to perfection. So today, this particular technology is really meant for getting rid of viruses, bacteria, bad smells. If you have must, if you have any VOCs implication, meaning you're in an environment where people are painting or there is some oil or gasoline smell, it will get rid of it. Molds, all right, mold spores. So if you have F&B outlets with air conditioning which are full of mold, once you clean it once and afterwards you put active oxygen within that environment, you can be rest assured this mold will not come back. It will not have the ability to come back because the active oxygen will destroy the mold as they try to reform. And that's the beauty of it. If, let's say, you have rooms which have cigarette smells in your hotel and you want to get rid of it because you want to convert this room in a non-smoking room, this can also do the job. You just leave the technology overnight and you can be rest assured the next day when you come back, all cigarette smell will be gone. So this is mainly what we address, but there's a lot more applications to it, as you can imagine. If I compare the technology to the conventional method of chemicals alone, we are flat out way above chemical standards by using the technology with very little chemicals, very little. It's difficult to say you can not eliminate them entirely, but in comparison, we are a lot more sustainable, a lot more eco-friendlier, and a lot more cheaper to operate than if you continue to operate with chemicals, because chemicals is a recurring cost. You have to basically buy it all the time, every day, to be able to sanitize, to be able to clean your environments. With this technology, you acquire the technology once, you maintain it every 6 to 8 months, and you do not need to buy additional recurring chemicals in the same quantities than you do today. The technology will do the job for you. So it has multiple advantages when it comes to hygiene and sanitation in any controlled environment, okay? Are we all good so far? Can I have some thumbs up or any reaction? Are we all okay? Yeah, from the participants, I know my Q team is very supportive. Yeah, John is okay. All right, who else? Yeah, Tyrone is okay too. All right, we have Chef Michael there. Are you okay? All clear? Yeah, good. All right, so I can keep my job. That's good. All right. Now, if I were to compare Cerafusion to other sterilizing or air purifier system like air filters, UV lights, fumigation, coating, ionizer, or ozonizer, we basically fit all the boxes. We tick all the boxes when it comes to ability to kill bacteria, mold, viruses, to basically get rid of smoke and bad smell, to remove pollutants. Can we cover big areas? Yeah, no issue as long as it's controlled, you know. Can we remove offensive smells? Yes. If any of you is a smoker in this room, I can be rest assured if after a smoke, in general, your hand will smell, correct? Because of the smoke, it's in contact with the cigarette. If you take our air purifier, sterilizer, and you pass your hand in front of it after smoking, nobody will ever know that you just had a cigarette. It will literally destroy all the bad smell instantaneously. We have different models. We have models for B2C, which is household models, which you can put into your bedroom, you can put into your living room, you can put to your car. For instance, I have one in my car, I have one in my bedroom, I have one in my living room, I also have one in my kitchen. So when I'm done cooking, I turn on the machine and all the bad oil, all the fumes, all these smells are all gone. I used to do it by boiling lemongrass, but it was also not sustainable for my garden because I needed so much lemongrass, and I thought the technology was so much easier to use. And then we also have models for the B2B, the businesses, which are much bigger in size, much more powerful, can cover bigger areas in terms of air sterilization, in terms of cleaning, in terms of ability to penetrate all areas. You need different type of machines. So these are more the models we have for air sterilization for rooms which can go from 300 square foot all the way to 5,000 square foot. And these air sterilizer can operate into positive and also negative temperatures. What do I mean by that? If let's say you have a big culinary operation and you're not too sure about the hygiene of your freezers and your fridges, if you do use them into your fridges or freezers, you can be rest assured you will have no food contamination, no cross-contamination whatsoever. If on top of that, you would use the water solution to clean your chiller and your freezer once a week or once a month, you would put another layer of safety within your food production area. So every machine is designed for a particular size of space. Like I said, we use the ambient air to charge it with active oxygen, and that's why every machine has to be suitable for the environment we want to treat. So you cannot use a smaller model for a big environment because the machine won't be able to turn the amount of active oxygen we will require for this particular space. So bigger machines can also have a solution of being piped in by the ceiling. So therefore, you have a coverage which can be 24/7 if you want to. It can be used in any form of area. It can be used in a banquet room, can be used in a restaurant, can be used in a kitchen, can be used in a storeroom. All applications are possible. And I will show you later on some more specific pictures about how it can be utilized. In Singapore, we have installed it in food courts, we have installed it in offices, we have installed it in different hotels. We have also helped people to clear their smoking areas. We also have helped people to clean their refuse bin areas, which are always have that very nice, pleasant smell, correct? And if we do use our water solution, our air solution, we are able to eradicate any sorts of smell in those environments. It's also been adopted by the healthcare and by some schools here in Singapore, where for safety reasons, for peace of mind, people feel more comfortable to be able to say, look, you are walking into a room which has been treated by active oxygen, therefore you have not to worry, there will be no contamination or cross-contamination whatsoever. Now, as I mentioned, until now we've spoken about the air solution, and these are the machines which produce the water solution. And we have also one latest model which can do air and water combined. So you can treat both surfaces at the same time. But for the water solution, it is the same approach than for the air. And again, here I show you the amount of savings you can do within your operation when it comes to your water consumption, to your chemical consumption, to your manpower requirement, and even your energy, because our water solution can break down grease with cold water. I do not need hot water and chemicals to break down grease, to clean a grease trap, to clean a greasy floor, to clean a greasy kitchen. All what I need is your normal tap of water, plug in my water active oxygen machine, and it will do the job on its own. I don't even need to scrape. It will literally destroy all the oil, all the grease instantaneously. You can even use it to wash your vegetables or your fruits upon receiving them on your loading bay. Right now, I'm sure most of you will sanitize them with chemicals. So you're already bringing in fruits and vegetables, which most probably have been treated with pesticides. Now we add another layer of sanitizer, which is also chemical based. And on the end, we want to have happy customers. To me, that is not sustainable. And it's not very meaningful for the customer either. So we have made testings where we could even prove that by washing the fruits and the vegetables with the active oxygen water, we could extend the shelf life of these products for our end customers. Now, the water solution is highly disinfectant. It is very, very efficient. And like I said, it can be used in many contexts, even in washroom, for instance. Imagine a washroom. These are the places you always have to make sure somebody goes in there to make sure they clean them properly so they don't smell anymore. Because no matter what, cubicles and urinals will always smell if they're used on a random basis. If now you have active oxygen water running to your urinals and cubicles, and at the same time you have pipe in active oxygen air, you will never have any smell ever again. We actually installed the entire Changi airport. All toilets have been installed with the air and the water solution to give the travelers and the staff a peace of mind when they do go to the washroom. So like I said, we can use it in chillers, we can use it in processing rooms. We also have applied it into many food production centers, people who must produce food, such as SATS catering, and people who produce all ready-to-go meals. We even have installed it in delivery trucks, where some of our customers wanted to have a peace of mind when they deliver their food to their customer. Their trucks are constantly sanitized and sterilized. Like that, they do not have to worry about food contamination or food sterilization. Now, again, some of the real case where we have washed down chillers and freezers and showed to our customer that we can really break down everything and anything to recreate a sterilized environment. Refuse bins, where we have sterilized the containers, the floor, the walls, without using chemicals and without using hot water, just by using the tap water and our machine. Like I mentioned, food production, washrooms, kitchens, and we can go on and on and on. Supermarkets, receiving bays. We have such a multiple application. And basically, again, to sum it up, the water and the air has the same application. As soon as the air touches the ambient air, it basically charges up the entire room and will then sterilize automatically. For the water, as soon as the water touches any surface, any table, any flooring, any pan, any hand, any vegetable, any fruit, it will automatically sterilize whatever it touches. Now, we have done multiple swab tests about the efficiency of the technology. And every time we have been able to beat conventional cleaning methods, which are most of the time chemical based, by using lesser resources, lesser energy, faster turnaround time, and achieve a lower bacteria count at the end of the day. And that just demonstrates again the power of the technology today. And the fact that chemicals in the long run, we're gonna have to make some type of move, because like I mentioned so many times this evening, it's just not sustainable and it's just not safe, neither for our staff, neither for our customers, neither for ourselves, neither for our children. Just a few of our very happy customers. So like I mentioned, applied across the board into many industries, from clubs to hotels to airports, to food manufacturers, to schools, to universities, to cinemas, to freestanding restaurants, and I can go on and on and on and on. Good. I would like to leave the floor open now for questions.
Can I start off with one question? My name is Justin.
Sure, Justin.
Hi, Chef. Thank you for the very excellent talk and telling us more about Cerafusion. Personally, I own one myself. I have it here. So I'm a firm believer in it. Two questions. Yeah. Two questions. One is a technical question and one is more an operational question. The one that I have, the first part is the technical question. I seem to have some like crystallization on the machine itself. So I'm just very curious, what is that crystallization it has? Okay, that's my first question. I'll go on to my second question, then you can answer both at the same time. The second question is that you are a chef, I mean, you are in operations. So it comes from an operational standpoint. For example, we know that when we get into a restaurant, the first thing that really hits us is the smell, right? I mean, you know, for example, you wake up in the morning, you go down to the lobby of a hotel and you go down to the cafe, and first thing that hits you is the coffee smell. So as far as I think the technology is great, would this, in your opinion, negate that selling aspect of that smell? Because you have got this technology that basically kills everything, including the smell. I mean, the bad as well as the good. So what are your thoughts on that? Very curious about this.
So, okay, for the first question about the crystals on your machine, are you in a humid environment?
Maybe, because Hanoi can get a bit humid at times. Yeah.
So if you are in a humid environment, it's totally normal. So it's the interaction between the humidity and the technology. Once the active oxygen is created, it will produce these little crystals, but I guess it's very thin, correct?
Yeah, correct.
It's almost like a dust, correct?
It's a bit crusty, I'll say. You know, it's
So all what you need to do is every I would say every quarter or so, just remove the top, just wipe it off, and you're good to go. And it's very safe, because you know when I say high voltage, the high voltage is created within, but you won't be exposed. Okay, so you don't have to worry. Just
what's that
the machine and
byproduct?
you are safe.
I'm very curious. What is the byproduct? What's that white crystal? What is it? You know, I'm very curious what it is. I keep asking that question.
Oh, you keep asking. You want to know that. Well, I won't be able to give you the right definition of what they exactly are, but what I can tell you, it's the impact from the active oxygen against your humidity, which will then crystallize. That's for sure, because we had the same issue when we started to implement it into chillers and freezers, which is a highly humid environment.
All right.
But on the end, we realized
Chef, sorry, I would like to jump in on this, if you don't mind. My name is Fatih Grayev. I'm a technical director of one of the developers here. The technology, it's maybe new in the way that you generate the ozone. I don't know what are you talking about. I'm waiting actually to hear that, that's fine. But then ozone treatment, it's not something new. What was always challenging is to keep ozone on levels, because when ozones go high, it's harmful. So every day, everybody try to have these ozone levels on control, and I trust your product has maybe come today, so it has these futuristic features. But then, what the gentleman's, if may I answer you, sir, what is this white things is actually the ozone reacting to anything. Ozone is oxidizers, and when you say oxidizers, meaning rust, meaning like when you see the aluminum get powdery white color, that's how it's oxidized. When you see the iron get red, that's how oxidized. So it's rust. It's destroy the fats, destroy the particles, and bring it down to very small rust details of whatever it's made of. So actually in Hanoi, which I was there many times, because you have this high humidity, and the water, the air moves slow. That's why you humidity and slow. So the contaminant in air, it's high actually. You don't know what's in there. If it's dust, if it's other things. So whatever you collect in powder, it's actually what has been treated in the air.
Okay, great.
That's
What
the
was the
why.
question? Yeah. What about your second question? I'm very curious from an operational standpoint because I came from operations. So
So on the second question about destroying the smell of the experience of the customer, very unlikely, because you will always have some smell which would be there for a short while. You know, it's not that powerful that instantaneously when the smell comes out, active oxygen will destroy it in totality. No, it doesn't work like that. It will take some time. But let's say if you have residual smell of oil from open kitchens during the night when you stop operation, yes, active oxygen over a period of time will be able to eliminate those. And when you come back in the morning, you will have a crisp and fresh room. But right on the spot is very unlikely.
Okay.
Now, just to go back, was it Fadi?
Yes, sir, Fadi.
Fadi. So I just want to clarify with you. Yes, you're right about the oxidation, but Cerafusion are not ozonizer. So we are not producing ozone on its own at high level. We are partially using ozone to mix it with the ambient air, then subsequently release it at a very low ppm. So I just want to clarify that. So our technology is extremely safe, extremely reliable. You can actually sleep with it. You won't have any exposure whatsoever. Does that clarify?
Yeah, that's the new things, which is I'm actually quite interested to understand a bit more from you on how to. Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna come. I mean, what you're progressing. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chef. You answered my question. Well, I totally agree to that crisp air in the morning when I leave it. I leave the machine on the whole day. When I come home, it's fantastic to smell. I definitely can. I think that's great. I'm just asking out of curiosity from the operational.
No, sure.
Thanks so much.
Understand. And I recommend also operators, since you were talking about operation, what type of application they want to do. Is it maintenance? Is it safety? Do you run it when your customer is there? Do you run it when your customer is not there? I mean, that is a personal choice for each and every one, depending on what you want to achieve. Do you want to give your customer a peace of mind while they are there to make sure they're in a safe environment? Then you have to turn it on when they are there. If you want to maintain the room while the operation is over because you want your customer the next day when they come back and your employees to have a crisp room, then you turn it on when there is nobody there, either overnight or whenever the operation is shut down. That's for the air application, okay? The water application is slightly different because that is a purely operational application.
Yeah, thank
Good.
you, Chef. Yeah.
Anyone else?
And I saw in the chat box there is a question from Lindsay. He said she asked that as Chef said, can clear the smoking area, and so does it have the ability to limit the amount of toxin entering through the breath of smokers and people who breathe in smoke? Thank you, Chef.
She said, can clear the smoking area, so does it have the ability to limit the amount of toxin entering through the breath of smokers and people? Okay, so again, a little bit like what Justin mentioned about the coffee, we are able to treat smoking rooms and smoking environments, but we won't be able to destroy every smoke as it comes out instantaneously. That is not possible. There's no technology today who is able to do that. Perhaps an ozonizer, but that will get rid of the smoke, but also they will get rid of you. So we are not capable of dealing with that. So the answer to your question is no, we can't reduce the amount of toxin what people are smoking. It's not possible because it's not fast enough. So I hope I answer your question. There's somebody else who asked me what is ppm. Ppm is particle per minute. And basically it's the level of particles you release within a certain volume of air. Ozonizers would operate at 500 ppm. Cerafusion Technology, we operate at below 100, which is a very, very safe zone. Or 0.01 against 0.1, okay?
And yes, there one more question.
John, does that answer your question? I just saw your name there. Okay, good, good. So it is very, very different from ozonizer, which basically release 5 point something ppms. We basically operate at 0.01 ppms, makes it safe. So that means if you would put that into your bedroom while you sleep, you will wake up in the morning without any health issue or concern.
And yes, there one more question. The Cerafusion unit need to be turned on 24/7, and what is the minimum time required to be effective?
So 24/7 is a question, it depends on what type of usage you want to make out of it. If you want to ensure that your room is sterilized 24/7, then yes, you have to turn on the machine 24/7. If you only want to do maintenance overnight because you don't want to have your customer exposed to it during operation, it is also applicable. It really depends on what you want to achieve. If you want to tell your customer then they are in a sterilized environment because you're using Cerafusion technology, yes, then you need to leave it on. That's about the 24/7. What else?
Yes, thank you, Chef. And
there was one more. Required to be effective. Yeah. What's the minimum time required to be effective? In general, within a control environment with the adequate machine, for the air application, perhaps within, depending from a minute all the way to maybe a half an hour, if it's a big volume of air. When I say a minute, I mentioned earlier about smokers being able to pass their hands in front of the machine, and the machine will automatically clear the bad smell. That's what I mean by minutes. If it's a bigger volume of air, it will go into 10, 20, 30 minutes for sure. The water application is instantaneous. As soon as the water touches any surface or any flooring or any ingredients, is instantaneous. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you, Chef. And there's one interesting question. On the product set for people, including pregnant women and babies?
Absolutely. We have absolutely no problems with any human being in any health condition. We have not had any problems. And like I mentioned, we are not an ozonizer. We are not an ionizer. We are active oxygen based. So I want everybody to really clearly understand that, because we are not on the same playing field. We cannot be compared. It's true, ozonizer, when used at a high level of concentration of ppm, can be harmful. Scientists have proven it. Active oxygens, no way. We have medical reports. We have done all the testings we had to do, and we didn't encounter any challenges from that aspect.
Thank you, Chef. I think in the interest of time, we might take one more question if there's anyone else from the participants who would like to ask a question to Chef. Christoph?
Any of the chefs wants to come forward or have anything on your mind? Would you consider it? Maybe that's the question I want to ask. Would you consider it? Would you see the value in having something like that in your operation, Michael?
Of course, I mean, it sounds very interesting, and generally, I think it's a good option to have. Yeah, it's something good to look into it, and in general, in the current situation, of course, it's good to have.
Sure, you should ask for a demo, because once you see a demo happening in front of your eyes, you will realize the power of the technology and how much savings you could make in your back-end operation from a manpower, from a chemical, from an energy, and so on and so forth. I mean, I'm so convinced because I use it every day. So for me, it's more a way of life than anything else. But I highly recommend it, especially for people in the culinary field, for people in the F&B field, food production field, hotel rooms. It's very, very efficient.
Sure, thank you.
Welcome, pleasure.
Yes, there's one more question. Are
Sure.
there any maintenance costs involved, and how much?
Oh, of course. like in any machine, there will be some maintenance at one stage. I mean, that would be wonderful if we can provide you one of these with maintenance fee. So, but the maintenance is fairly reasonable. If you use it in a normal environment, like in any of your hotels or food production center, you may talk about every 8 months, you may have to change the cartridges, and that's all what you have to do for the water solution. For the air solution, you may have to clean the fan, because obviously your air will have some dust, and it's not an air purifier. So the dust will get trapped into the fan, and that is very easily done. And once again, change the cartridge, which are fairly reasonable. If I would compare the price of a cartridge, it would be about $100, which you have to change every 8 months, compared to the amount of chemicals you would have bought to achieve the same results over that 8 months of time. I think there is no comparison. Very straightforward. There is no comparison.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chef.
I mean,
Chef,
just one more thing. During this entire pandemic, I have not utilized a sanitizer for my hands once. All what I used was Cerafusion Technology. As soon as I would go in my car, come out from anywhere, I would put my hands in front of it, and I know I was safe. I mean, just peace of mind. Yes, there was someone who...
may I, sorry, if I would like to ask just, if there is a unit for ice machines, or basically a solution for the ice machines.
Yes, absolutely, Fadi. We have done it with SATS. So SATS was very, very concerned about the ice machine, because you're right. The ice machine is the biggest zoo in any F&B outlet, and people don't even realize it. That's where all happens. You find all sorts of bacteria and viruses in ice machines. So we connected the water solution to the ice machine, and we needed to find the right amount of active oxygen, ppms, to make sure the ice can still crystallize, because remember, it's an oxidizer, so we need to make sure it can still operate. And just to be able to sterilize the water enough for the ice cube to still form and deliver a sterilized ice cube to the end consumer. Yeah, done it a few times, Daya.
Maybe there's something. Okay, so but most of the bacteria actually coming into the ice machine, carried by the air than the water. And if, do you think it's possible there is other thing could be combined? Like
with our testings, we realized that if the water is sterilized, you're on the safe side. The air it's very unlikely.
Well, that's great. Okay, actually, I would like to test that.
Yeah, you can.
Mind. Yeah.
You can. We have done it, and it works.
Yeah, thank you. That's something to look into. Thank you.
Somebody posted something interesting here. The key factor here in Vietnam is to educate the health department and ensure they're aware the processes are. Now, David, I have the same problem in Singapore. I have the same challenge in Singapore. And on the end of the day, when I do challenge the health department, they have no arguments, because on the end of the day, the end result is swab test. And if you show them then the swab test is 0, there's no more argument. That means it worked. You know, I have the same issue here. I have the same issue. We still believe in Singapore, the answer to cleaning environments is air purifiers. And I keep telling them, this is not the haze. This is a virus. This is something very different. You do not contain that in the air purifier. It's impossible. Good. Well, that was a very vivid session. I didn't have a webinar like that in a long time. Thank you, all of you.
Yes.
That was amazing. We were
Thank
so
you,
much
Chef.
interaction.
That was really very nice. And thank you for your time to share today about Cerafusion Technology. We'll just take one last question in the list here, and then what we'll do is the rest of the questions, I would inform all the participants. We will get back to you so that you get an answer to your questions if we have not been able to answer your question right now.
Okay.
From the
Okay, I just want to. I just see two on the chat. Yes, John, you are correct. You are correct about the water. That's the correct answer. And Frank is asking me what happens with the ozone which is generated. Like I mentioned to you, Frank, the ozone which is generated is at a very, very low level. And because before it's released, it is recombined with the environment oxygen to create that active oxygens, there's really nothing to worry. There's no leaking or whatsoever. I hope that answers your question, your query.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you. We just have 5 more minutes to continue, and I'd like to share some information from Q Industries that we would like to announce to all the participants today. I think this topic that we have talked about is a very pertinent and relevant one, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic continuing to wreak havoc in hospitality, in F&B, and everywhere, including our workspace. So there will definitely be an opportunity for the Q Industries team, our sales team, to answer more questions and to even introduce the products and let you try the products in the time to come. So a very exciting thing I'd like to share is that in Q Industries Vietnam, we have a limited time offer that up to 30th of September, ending this month, there's an additional 20% discount off all the products that we'll talk about today in the list of Cerafusion. And our sales team, we have a team that will definitely get in touch with you. We have your registration information. So if there's anything, we will definitely follow up after this session. All right. So that's important that we wanted to talk about today. The slides will be made available. Should you wish to have a copy, please inform us. We will definitely extend a copy to you if you require.
Actually, no need to, Kwani. No need to, sorry. The slides are all available on our website. Just go to qindustries.com. You go to solutions, you go to Cerafusion. The entire deck is there. Okay.
Thank you. And additional contact information, if you're in Vietnam, please feel free to contact Miss Apple. She's will take care of all the questions or any sales-related inquiries. And for Singapore or international sales, please contact Miss Huilin, and she'll be happy to help you. Exciting note, we do have a Q Online Solution web store that is available now in Singapore and will be in Vietnam in time to come. And you can do your online shopping on a secured platform and see all the products and do your inquiries on this platform as well. Okay, so that would conclude the presentation for today, the webinar session. I really thank you for your time today, and I wish everyone a safe and healthy time in view of the COVID-19. All right, Chef, that's all I have. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Cool. Thank you so much, everybody. Enjoy your evening, and I wish for everyone in Vietnam that things will get better soon for all of you. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you for your time today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Thank you.
Maybe you, Kwani,